Well, good evening, Steve, and Steve's dad. Don't know your name yet. He always refers to you as his dad, but I don't know your name. Anyway, said you wanted to see kind of a panorama of the shop, so I thought probably the best thing to do would just be to come in here and take a little video. Anyway, when you first walk through the door, this area to the left is where we keep our mechanical tools, working on cars and so forth. We got the shelving up above. We keep oil and different lubricants. Barrel over there is where we keep the rakes and that. But this area is important because we do live rather remote, and so we want to be able to do as much repair in-house as we possibly can. This little thing over here, for example, is a device we use to dismount tires and change them. Have a little press in the back for pressing out bearings, different things like that. Storage cabinets for screws and bolts and nuts and so forth. And over on the other side, these are chairs and tables and things that we store up through the summer, and in the winter we repair them and sometimes sell them, and sometimes use them here or do repairs for people. This old cabinet right here, for example, was one that came out of an abandoned house. It was handmade. It's probably 120 years old, I would imagine, somewhere along through there. It's some old chairs. And as you go down further, we'll swing back to the left. This area over here is the area we use for sanding and prepping. Let me get back over here where I can get a little better shot for you. Keep various sanding discs and supplies on the walls. This box here is what we call a downdraft table, and it's kind of interesting because when you're sanding, dust is always a problem. Let me reach down there and turn this on. And if you turn it on, it has a draft that draws the dust down through those holes, and it's collected in furnace filters that we have underneath. We have caulking, different supplies. There's where we keep our paint, various stains and varnishes. This is just a work table. Right now I have some tongue and groove flooring on there that I'm waiting to take out to a job. This machine here is a power sander that we use for sanding wood. I'll step around here to the other side and kind of explain how this works. You have this 4-inch hose that goes into a barrel and then into a big double dust collector. Very powerful motor, and it creates a double cyclone in there which pulls all the dust out. And you can turn this on. I'll give you a showing how this works. And then there's a disc inside here that turns very quickly, as you can see. And then your wood plank would go down on here, and this is a speed control, and it feeds the board in there, and it sands it to whatever depth, and you can vary the grit of the paper that's on there. And you're seeing right next to it is a 12-inch thickness planer that we use. It makes a very nice slick cut. And if we swing around over here in this corner, this is where we have, well, I've got a router table there that I use to cut profiles. But this is where we keep our welding equipment and metalworking and so forth, and we drag this out if we need to weld something up. This is a workbench that kind of doubles as a this is our miter saw, our miter saw here. We used to cut the angles with. And of course we have storage up above for various types of wood. We have it sorted into different species, and a lot of this is reclaimed. Up in the top there, that what you're looking at right there, that's American chestnut, which has been extinct here for about 40 years. And we salvage it out of old barns. Moving right along, here we have our bandsaw, which does whatever cuts we need. Next to it is the compressor, and we have a hose on a reel that we can use to move around the shop. More storage of tools and equipment. A lot of this equipment in here is different power tools that we use as we go on different jobs, everything from routers to saws to power nailers, hardware of various types, nails, screws, different things, plumbing, electrical, all sorted out up here in the top. And as we continue on around, we have our lathe here, which we use to do wood turning if we have to duplicate something like a spindle on a chair or something. That thing that you see hanging on the wall there, that is what we call a brake. It's a metal brake, and it's a bender. We take it down, set it up on its legs, and we can bend metal into different shapes. This is an air filtration box. We use if we're doing dusty work, we can turn that on. These bins that you see over here in the back are where we keep our scraps that we cut off, because we burn them in the winter in a little stove that we have in here. And here's some wood that we are ready. It's about 90 degrees in here now, so I probably won't build a fire. But we heat the shop with the scrap that we managed to make here. In the center of the shop, we've got several workstations. This is a pocket jig, which we use to cut pocket holes for when you're screwing doors together. You can insert a screw in there. This is an edger that we use to joiner edger to get the edges of the board nice and straight and ready to glue or attach together. We have a smaller dust collector here, which draws the chips out of this edger. And over here we have a shaper, which we use to cut profiles on wood, various profiles if we have to make a molding or something like that. And that again, that feeds back to that small dust collector back there in the center of the shop, which is the heart of it. And excuse the mess in here because it is a working shop. I have some windows and things, and the guys don't always clean up as well as they should. This is our big table saw here. This is more or less the heart of the shop. It's a big powerful saw, and I've got some old windows that I salvaged at the junkyard the other day when we were taking the trash away. I found these old windows, and I don't know that I can salvage the windows, but it's got that lovely old wavy glass. When I clean that up, we can use that for various projects. Back here to the left is more storage. This is back behind the dust collector. We have various storage for different types of wood and plywood and glass. And back in this corner, we usually roll the dust collector out. You may see that right there. That's the jig that we use to cut glass with. And kind of give you a panorama of the shop like that. And then in the back over here, we have a storage closet, I guess you'd call it, back in here that we use to store excess equipment and supplies and pipe and things that we just rather have out of the way. Here to the left, and here's a door I built for a customer. It's waiting to be taken out and installed in the house. This is built out of sassafras. We took the rough lumber and turned it down. But you'll find this interesting because you see the stained glass in there. That actually came out of a very large home in England, over your way somewhere. And the woman had bought it at auction and purchased it at auction. And she had saved this glass for about 30 years. And we then turned it into a door. It's all sitting back in here. I'll see if I can give you a little better shot with the raised panels. We had to go in and repair all the lead work because most of it was broken to make it more stable to be used. We have various clamps. And the final room is this room in here that we call the boss room. I'll open the door and show you what's in here. Get a light. This is a room that we use to do repair work on any of our firearms. We have various tools and lubricants and different things that we can use. This is a box here that I built for my dad a number of years ago. He's long since passed away, but I built this for Dad for probably 20 years or more ago, and this was Dad's gun cleaning kit. Let's see if I can get that open. Sorry for jostling around. It has all the different, the patches and the cleaners, most of it untouched. Lined it with velvet. And this is made out of quarter sawn oak, and of course the box joints on the corner. And we have some various things in here. This is a magazine out of an AR-15, fully loaded. We always have something nearby. Here's a black powder rifle. I believe that's a 50 caliber that we're doing some work on to get ready for the deer season this year. We need to put a new nipple on here and get the bolster working properly. Another gun back here that we're working on. That one back there, believe it or not, is an air rifle. Extremely powerful air rifle. They're pretty popular for squirrel and rabbit. And we have some boxes and things that have various tools. In this box here we have dies that we use. These are various dies that are used in meters and different things like that we use when we manufacture ammunition. Some of the so we have some dies in here. Some of the ammunition that we use in some of the antique firearms is no longer available. Here we have different parts for guns that we have to work on. We don't work on these things commercially. We do our own repair for ourselves. This little station back here is actually set up to do our own reloading. For example, this little device here is what this takes the primers out and puts them in. Depending on if you reverse that die, you can push the primer out or you can put one in. We have brass here. We have a whole bucket full of, let's see what this is. I believe it appears to be 40 caliber. We get this from the range and we collect it. They're just as glad to be shed of it, and we can reload our ammunition with different things that we need, different loads, different strengths, and we have various buckets and boxes of different things, and more dies that size out the casings and lubricate them, and all the different things that have to be done. And of course some file cabinets I have here that have pertinent documents for tools and equipment here in the shop. And it kind of becomes a catch-all, a little bit of a catch-all for everything. This ammunition case here is full of ammunition. Let's see if I can get that open. For a Kalashnikov. This is a military surplus ammunition. And there's probably, I'd say there's 500 rounds in there in that can. And all good stuff. Some of it, this is all mainly Full Metal Jacket, which, you know, it's debatable whether that'd be serviceable, but for anything but the range. But then we do have some hollow point ammunition here too, which could be quite messy. And we don't normally store a lot of ammunition out here, but I got this out on trade from someone. Let's see if I can get that box closed properly. And that little device back here, this little machine back here is a loader, and you put the powder in there, and then your cartridge goes in this little hole right here, and then it dumps the correct amount of propellant powder, gunpowder or smokeless powder in there. And then we use another device over here to insert the bullet in there. And so we pretty much can load our own ammunition. And we just have a lot of little posters and things in here that we like. Here's Lee Ermey, our buddy, who's no longer with us. And that's about it. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't want to make the video so long that it wouldn't be fun to watch. But Anyway, you guys have a great night. I hope you enjoyed our little tour. And when I get time, I'll make another video, walk you around the farm and show you, you know, what the property looks like. These are old door parts here that were used. I'm actually using these to rebuild a door in the old log house that we're attaching. So we try to restore some of the old hardware. Some of it's in pretty rough shape. I don't know how salvageable it might be, but you never know. A wire brush and a good soak and some penetrant, and you can clean it up. Anyway, that's about it. God bless and have a good evening.